Um, hmm. So yeah, I'm just looking at it, just kind of like taking it in. Thinking, like you could angle it slightly downward, so because it's up in the corner of the screen, it rotates. Like its rotation appears to be at like an angle. So if I wanted to, I could offset for that. I guess maybe that'd be as simple as rotating the. No, that's not the correct axis for rotation. Would it be this axis? Yeah. Oop. Sorry, my mouse is freaking out. Well, that's like, I mean, that's not like better, but it's like kind of like what I was, the gist of like what I was talking about. Quaternions. And actually, I guess I'd want to rotate it slightly in this direction as well. But it's probably fine the way it was. You know what? Actually, for the corner, I might even for the icon in the corner of the screen, I might have that one remain fixed, and I might have the ones that pop out of the crowd. I might have those. I might have those ones rotate, and I might have the. I don't know necessarily that I'll want to pause that rotation, but I would like to have the option. So public rotate equals true, and then so this only if rotate. So that way, for this one, to introduce an error. If we're oh, yeah, this is a boolean. Right. Yep. So then, for the one in the corner, I can just have it not rotate. Or I can have it rotate. I don't know. Maybe it's fine either way. So, what were we doing? Oh yeah, the reason we set that up, the reason it became so important is because we were working on our volcano scene and we needed an iconic representation for the other of the two buttons, the left button. I'm pretty sure like this is the only thing that these buttons will ever really be used for. So I feel comfortable just slapping this stuff like right on the button itself. Like so. And then parenting it to the button, I guess. Oh, although there's like weird scale stuff, so I should touch up the scale before I. That's not right. Before I parent it. Specifically, are you? Why did you get an arrow? Oops. Yeah, always to 0. There we go. Oops. Why are you not 1? Okay. So. Yeah. Why are you narrow? Is that weird? I think it's weird that you're narrow. Did I do something strange? Oh. I don't Oh, Z fighting, my favorite. Right. So I should space those the meshes a little more. Score icon, I guess. 0.22, I guess. 2. I guess it doesn't matter if there's like a slight gap there, so I'm just actually going to put it like 0.3. Oh yeah, and that's like a really small scale, so I'm just going to put it like 0.3. Just to get rid of, just to eliminate the possibility of Z-fighting. Oh, that is some distance offset. I wonder if it'll look weird when it rotates now. Yeah, it's probably fine still. Hopefully that's enough to get rid of the Z-fighting. So yeah, update the prefab, and oh yeah, I think this whole thing is just at a weird scale. So let's just bring you to the volcano scene for now. Yeah, that was what that was about. And actually, I guess I don't even really want the prefab to be so shrunk down. Is that true? I might want it to be shrunk. I might want it to be small relative to the population of the island, so that like when they produce these and they pop out of the island, they don't look like Titanic. They don't look like massive. Although I do want them to be. Excuse me. I'm almost dying while standing still. I do want them to be like noticeable when they pop out of the population. So I guess I can figure that out later. Where was it? It was parented to the volcano scene, I think. What's this guy? Yeah, the currency. So for now, we'll just bump you up, I guess. Alright, yeah, no, for now we'll just size up this entire thing. To be like, I don't know, twice as big. Let's see how big a mob would be next to it. And, well, no, I guess I would want the scales to be consistent. Because, like, this is the size that a mob actually is. So I guess I'd want this to be comparable in scale, relatively speaking. Let's see what it looks like at 2. So whereas this button will only have a mob, this button will have an icon and a number. So yeah, 2 is probably too big. Let's try like 1.5. Wait, that's not the 1.5. 0.5. That might be good. I have to. Oh yeah, I set the prefabs to not rotate. Yeah, obviously I have to move it out a little bit so it doesn't rotate into the frame, but other than that, I think that's probably about right. Oh, and actually, I think, gonna say I might not want it to be rotated, like oriented to the, whoops, to like lay flush against the backdrop, but rather to stay like vertically oriented. But actually that's probably not true either. No, I probably do want it to lay flush against the backdrop. So, alright, let's move it into slightly better positions. Oop, wrong one. Yeah, so they'll be like this. I guess I'll set it up to be reminiscent of the one at the top of the screen. Everything slowly rotates. So now I'll add in a GUI text element to list the cost of the mob in currency unit relative. So the player can decide whether to sacrifice or which what they will sacrifice. GUI text. So I want it to be the same color as the other text, probably. I can eyeball it though. I do want it to be font size. Well, yes, I know I can eyeball it roughly for starters, and then the font size I think is like what 20-ish. No, it should probably be the same font size as the text of the speech bubble, which I think is 30. I'll put it in the left button. Oh yeah, I guess I can, if I'm done repositioning the currency, I could put that in the left button as well. I'm just not 100% that actually no, yeah, it's probably close enough. Right, and so then GUI text. This will be currency cost. And yeah, I guess it'll be important to know how many characters could possibly fit in here. So like, I wonder if 3 can fit reasonably. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. So can I fit 3 characters? Yeah, that fits comfortably. I could probably fit 4 if I needed to. And I haven't really determined the scale yet, so like I haven't determined exactly how high these costs will be. So maybe maybe thousands is a reasonable number. So for the Y value, let's decrease that slightly, or increase it slightly as over 45 now for 3-ish. Is that really the same size? Currency cost versus GUI text. Like we're talking about like that GUI text, right? What are we? Yeah. What's the? Oops. Doesn't look the same size to me. Maybe just because of the way it's framed. Oh yeah, and I wanted to make the color the same, and I will not eyeball it. I'll make it consistent. Although honestly, I'll probably want to do, if I have time on Sunday, I'll probably want to do like a pretty major color pass on the entire game in terms of like actually making real assets and making sure they're all the same color. Oh yeah, and then the x value is not quite right yet. So let's say, nope, too much, or wrong direction rather. 6, yeah. So, if a client demands a tribute, what will you sacrifice? So then just for comparison, what if the currency did rotate? And then what if it did lay flush, or did not lay flush? Well, yeah, no, that one's definitely not correct. I think because like the weird scales of like the stuff that the weird scales of its parents are screwing up like how it rotates at that angle anyways. But yeah, that could be about right. So yeah, let's and then should this also rotate? Seems like a lot of rotation. Just a lot of idle rotation. But maybe that's fine. This is otherwise a very inert screen, so maybe it's okay if there's like a little activity going on. I'm probably going to go back and forth on that for a long time. It's a good thing I put a little checkbox there so I can go back and forth with that for as long as I want. I feel a little cramped up in this corner. Just gonna nudge the score over a little bit. Better. And then, yeah, that'll probably rotate as well. Oh yeah, what if this one... Whoop. Oh right, yeah, no, remember. Because it's up in the corner, it's at the top of the screen, and it's like angled slightly weird, so it would be more complicated. Matter of getting it to point towards the camera. Let's see. No, this is almost certainly just not worth it. Not worth the effort. Alright. Oh, what if... I was gonna say we could just have it look at the camera. Maybe. Maybe then it would rotate as I was like trying to nudge it to rotate. Frankly, because I spent as much time as I have, I feel somewhat entitled to continue spending more time on it, which is not necessarily a correct instinct, but it's one that I'm going to run with for at least a minute longer. What is it? I call it score icon. On start, score icon dot look at transform dot transform dot look at transform dot position. Alright, that didn't take too long. Not much of a diversion. Let's see if it works. Nah, not really. The effect that I was going for anyways. So, alright. I'll probably just stop all of that right now. Cut the silliness. Get back to work. Specifically, what we were working on had to do with the volcano scene and its interactivity. So, yeah, we need to reference the cost of the. So in the volcano scene, the edge of the volcano. This cost will depend on the cost that we calculated to determine the threshold of whether we made it to the volcano edge or not. So for one thing, the cost that we were calculating earlier, we need to keep that around. So I'll call it like so float cost equals 0 for starters, and then I'll refactor it so that we know we're talking about the mob cost. And we will excuse me, my throat's a little hoarse. I hope the quality of my voice is not too strongly impacted, but I apologize. I don't usually talk this much. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. That was awful. Gosh. Sorry. So we have the mob cost, and now we can know what the mob cost was, even when we're over in the other scene. Actually, I guess we might as well update that promptly so that we might as well update the left button text promptly so that way it will display the correct cost as soon as possible. In order to do that, we have to have some way of interacting with it. So public game object mob cost. Oh wait, no, I just used button or mob cost text, I guess. Then we can say mob cost text dot GUI text dot text. Sorry, that's just a lot of texts. Equals yeah, it's not just going to be equal to what we calculated as the mob cost. It's actually going to be it's going to be different. Let's say so it'll be what? So math f dot round, I guess, round or floor round floor. I guess just round round to int, mob cost, and then yeah, it'll be more than just what we're using for the yeah, you know what, it is just gonna be mob cost, but in order to accomplish what I was hinting at, we're going to upfront, we're going to scale the mob cost, because we actually have to apply whatever, instead of like just scaling it up to display for the GUI text, we actually need that value to be correctly scaled, and in order to scale it, we need to I think I'm going to do that here. I think I'm going to do mob, like, because I kind of like how C threshold goes by like 0 to 4. So I'm probably going to actually keep that the same. That way, if I decide to change this new variable that we're adding, then I don't have to change C threshold like that. It will continue to function the way that it has functioned. But I can still times equals, I don't know, I guess mob cost scale, which is not a thing yet. It has to be a thing. It has to be a public float. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it will be. Like, I mean, there are other ways for the world to work, but this is the way that I'm making it work here and now. So yeah, I just chose 10, and then so hypothetically, when we get to that screen now, it should instead of like displaying whatever like random 4-digit number we chose, it should display the cost of whatever the mob was. Let's see if that works. Did I save? I forget if I saved or not. Where's the threshold at? Threshold's at 3.5, so it'll probably take a moment. Spawn period's really low. Or really high. 3.5. It's taking us sweet time to get there. I think this is like a statistically like low scoring crop. So I'll just punch down to 3. There we go. Oh yeah, no, I didn't assign. Okay. So I'll jack the spawn period back down so that we can test like that better. And then yeah, no, I forgot to assign the currency cost to our variable as such. Now it should work. Probably, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, look at that, 36. I think I want that text center justified. I feel like that would be better. So like when it's a two-digit number, I want it to be more like, what just happened? I don't. Oh, maybe I don't want to change that. Maybe I want to change this. Oh yeah. Okay, that's better. So put that to be roughly right there. That way, yeah, I think that should be good. So now we should get the inaccurate cost displayed 38. Sure. Well, that's expensive for one thing, because we can see like the we don't even have like 38 goods at this point. So like even if we wanted to pay it, we couldn't yet. Which is part of what I was talking about earlier, upping the rate of productivity. Oh, now we can pay it. But oh yeah, no, that was the other thing. I was actually gonna start. Yeah, I guess I might as well put score as like a public float, because the one of the ideas was to have a to start you off with some resources, like 100 or so, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, this seems fine. So that way, because like there's like the mob spawns are going to be random or like pseudo-random, so there's probably going to be an opportunity to get like a really expensive mob like really early, and if that's the case, you want to you know, you don't want to gate the player into waiting. I like, and right, this is so. I think this is actually. No, I mean this might be roughly around the rate that you would earn, or that that the mobs would be productive. But I mean, like, yeah, to get like a 40 so early, like 40 probably isn't even the max. Like what? Wait, no, is 40 literally the max? Am I doing times 10? Did we get a perfect score on this one? Yeah, and either way, it's a long way. It's a long time to wait. So, how are we doing? I think we're making some progress. This is more features than we had this morning. Oh, right, yeah. So, the other thing is that this mob was here just as an example. I'm going to get rid of it because the other thing that we want to do is so yeah, the other thing we want to do is to translate our mob in question to the appropriate location so it appears over that button. So again, we actually can't do this here because we have to, like in this section right here, we actually have to set up a like a timed like wait period for the player to realize what's going on before before like the rug gets pulled out from under them. However, for starters, we'll just mock it up here as what is it? This is mobs. I don't know why I copied and pasted that. I was expecting it to be more involved. MCT -1 because we're still referring to this mob, but we've already incremented the mob count. So dot transform dot position equals what do I call it? Button mob position. BTN MOB POS position POS position. Yep. So now when we switch to that screen, not only should the score populate, but we should also. Oh, it's yeah. So the mob appeared at the correct place for a moment, I think, but it's still getting affected by. Oh, so that's a strong argument to stop the simulation in the back end when we're at scene 1, when we're at the volcano scene. But I don't know. I don't totally want to do that. So maybe I'll just say I basically want to exempt that mob from all that's happening here until he's done with what he's doing, until he or she has returned from this aside. It's a little bit. There's a few unnecessary calculations that would happen, but if I implemented it here instead of going through each of the steps and doing it there instead, but oh, I know. So right, so if excuse me, int it int I max, I guess, I underscore max equals current scene equals 0 question mark. So if the current scene equals 0, then I max equals oh wait, no, this isn't what. Is this what? Oh. Yeah. I refactored some stuff and then I forgot to update stuff. So actually I guess it's good that we're doing this because I get to update something that I forgot to do anyways. So current scene equals so does current scene equal 0? If so, IMAX equals mob count. Otherwise, equals mob count minus 1. And so the reason we're calculating that is so that we know whether for the rest of the steps in this process, if we want to iterate over all of the mobs, or if we want to exempt the most recently spawned mob, which will always be the highest in the mob count. So yeah, so basically every reference to max mobs here, I think we just do mob count or IMAX instead. Fingers crossed. Of course, if I miss one of them, if I miss one reference to max mobs, is probably going to all come crashing down. Hopefully that is not the case. This might take a little while to debug. Hopefully that is not the case. Alright, maybe that worked. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's everything we needed to do there. Maybe. Let's see how ruined everything is. Completely ruined? Partially ruined? Not at all ruined? Not at all ruined, you say? Not even slightly ruined? That'd be cool. Huh. Wow, that took a while to hit the threshold. Yeah, we shouldn't have that pseudo-random. I mean, we shouldn't have that random. We should have that pseudo-random. We should actually, regulate how that sort of thing happens. Fix the numbers, as it were. But yeah, look at that. Look, here's our most recent mob, probably. I assume. Seems to fit the bill. Or whatever. Huh. Actually, now that I think about it, I mean, I always assumed, the this event would occur when the mob got spawned, but maybe I should just have it occur at intervals instead. Because like, huh. Hmm. So the advantage of having this occur on entry is that it makes the culture seem xenophobic. Advantage, air quotes. Um, but then the advantage of having it occur at random intervals is that it makes the decision seem arbitrary or like silly. Like why now? Like why is this why why do you suddenly care? Or why what are these whims of the volcano that we're bending to? Um, hmm. Well, I guess we can at least implement the rest of the scene or this screen without having to worry about that yet. Although, uh, yeah, I guess if we do it the other way, if we just make it arbitrary or occurring at random intervals, then that'd be a lot easier actually, because I wouldn't have to do an elaborate transition. It would be jarring when we get to this state. Um, it'd be like the player would not really necessarily understand why they reach this state, but that would also actually kind of be the point. Like it. um, Sorry, I'm getting a little bit snackish, so I'm gonna have I have like a bottle of tomato juice. I'm just gonna chug from it. I hope you don't mind. Shake first. Uh, right, okay, so we have kind of a lot going on right now. The other things that we have left to do before this. Wow, actually, I guess we're creeping up on like first playable, right? So in order to get to first playable, we need to actually add the interactivity. Or I mean, I guess we kind of actually have most of the interactivity here. It just all that happens is like in the debug output, it reminds you what button you just pressed. So we just have to hook up the actual consequence of those actions, and then what else we have to right. So it's the consequence of those actions, the immediate consequence of those actions, and then we also have to put everything back so that the simulation continues to run. So, like for example, this mob that we sucked into this like other space, we have to put it back to where it came from, above the island, and we have to switch back to the other scene. But actually, that doesn't feel like a lot of work at this point. It feels like we're getting close. I guess kind of want to pull the trigger on I want to pull the trigger on the scale of this number, the mob cost, being in the double digits, because I think that's probably right for the economy. Like it might get lower in the double digits or higher in the double digits, but I think it's going to be in the double digits. And the reason that's important to me is because, I guess hypothetically it could get in the single digits, maybe, but I don't like it being having to accommodate the quad digits, because I don't like how the the icon is spaced relative to the text. That type of stuff bothers me. So 56. Then we can. So if like that's the biggest number that we have to accommodate, then we can like nudge this over. What's it going to be like? Nope. Wait, what? Is that just? Is this what? Yeah, that's what I wanted to adjust. yeah, it's actually right about there. Yeah, that was just on my nerves. Now it's fixed. So actually, I guess until we add other text, we might as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Super doesn't matter, but just another one of those things that like it just seems oddly spaced for the amount of text that it has. Oops, wrong direction. Yep. So. Buttons. So yeah, we have to go into on GUI because this part is going to be driven by player action. Specifically, if the player clicks here, one consequence will occur. If the player clicks here, another consequence will occur. For example, so as you might guess, like if we click here, the cost is paid in currency deducted from the score. Like if on Sunday probably, or later today. I mean, we're moving out of a steady clip. I want to add more dialogue, like so that you get a stronger sense of personality from the elder. Oh. Huh. No, I just had I was just thinking like it would be fun if on different playthroughs like the elder was sometimes a sphere or sometimes a coin, and that would change a lot of the rules of the game. But yeah, for now it's the elder's a octahedron, and excuse me, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, right. So I want more dialogue so that when you click an option, it doesn't immediately revert to the other scene. It there's a bit of dialogue, and you are then eventually taken back to the other scene. That'll be for later. I won't worry about it just yet. So on GUI. Right now we're just printing the what buttons pressed, which we're determining based on some dimensions that I plugged in yesterday. But if we my former employer, the name of the company was Harmonix Music Systems. They make such games as like they originated Guitar Hero. They make Rock Band, or made Rock Band, have made Rock Band, Dance Central. I worked mostly on like Rock Band and Dance Central. I was at the company. I worked on like a few other projects as well. Yeah, they make like music games. If you're not familiar with it. 6 years. 6 long years. So the for the GUI. Okay, yeah, you recognize them. Yeah. They've been pretty popular. I was a huge fan before I started, which isn't to say I'm not a fan now. Just that I was like a huge fan when I started. I was like right at the height of like Rock Band and et cetera, et cetera. There's plastic instruments just everywhere. It actually would take me like no time at all to like appropriate a plastic instrument and hold it in front of the camera. Like no time. I could probably keep like my fingertips in camera range and appropriate like plastic instrumentation. Still to this day. but that's partly because I don't know. I keep stuff like that. Um, let's see. So on GUI, right. So we're printing the which button got pressed, and let's also if current scene equals, because like there's really only the one thing that happens in scene one. So um, right now we can just we can basically just do everything based on whether if it is scene one, because we know if it is scene one, then the player has these options for interactivity, and Audio Surf was great. I love that game. Um, yeah, I used to play that a lot. Because I mean, if you're gonna be like sitting around listening to music anyways, you might as well have like a sweet like action puzzle thing going on too. Like it was a fun game as well. So um, Beat Hazard. Yeah, I think I played Beat Hazard as well. I think I got it for like Xbox 360. I want to say, or I might have had it for PC. I got it for like one of those platforms. Because I remember seeing it like on all the other platforms and thinking to myself, no, I already own that one. I don't have to own that. I don't have to buy that one again. um, I didn't play it as much as Audio Surf though. So if it's current scene, then actually just as um, just as a temporary sort of like buffer, um, so that like the UI isn't like unexpected, um, like uh, like hyper responsive. I'm going to put like a slight delay between when the player enters scene one and when scene one becomes interactive. Um, so uh, float scene change time equals 0 and float scene change CD equals like 0.2 seconds, 0.2 seconds, I think is probably enough time. Um, um, yeah, I still see Beat Hazard like pop up. What was it like for? I think it was like in some bundle or some sale, like or maybe just some like new platform. Maybe for like I just got a iOS device like in the past year, and maybe it was for that or something. Like that's I mean, man, like I'm pretty sure the first time I played it was like something like 7 years ago, or maybe even longer. Like those developers have really kept up with it. So now we have a 0.2 second cooldown for when we change scenes. We just have to now when we change scenes, specifically when we change to scene one, when we change to the scene with interactivity, we need to check that and scene change time. Scene change time is less than time dot. Oh. I don't know if there is like a GUI time. So I'll just go with like time. Just time dot time. I wonder what smooth delta time is. Smooth delta time sounds like a blues song. Um, but it's um, reading chat. By the way, if you um, I yeah, I'm thinking about a lot of stuff right now. I've been doing my own thing because like the nice thing about working solo is that like you don't. Thank you. I'm glad you like that joke. Um, the 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 nice thing about working solo is that like for someone who has like kind of weird ideas sometimes, like when working on a team, I end up spending a lot of time convincing other people of those ideas. But like, the nice thing about working alone is that everyone's on board as soon as I make a decision. Um, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's nice to work solo, but I, all the success stories, like, like all the games that like have made like a major splash, like those tend to come out of like at least like small teams. Like it's fairly uncommon for like I mean I can't barely even think of like an instance of like literally a single developer like coming out with like one of yeah, weird ideas are awesome. um, a single developer like actually like making the same sort of splash or like having the same sort of impact. So uh, yeah, and we're like working on finding like some like fellow devs to work with. Like, yeah, I'm all for. That's definitely something that I've been thinking about. Um, uh, like currently a lot of the projects that I'm putting I mean, this is kind of like a side project from what I had been doing prior to this week, but um, a lot of the stuff that I'm putting together right now is like portfolio type projects. I think I mentioned before, like there's a link to a couple of the other projects that I've put up so far, and then I have like a third one in the cooker, and I just wanted to spin up like a few projects, like so far I don't have real names for the projects, but I've been calling them like Project 1, 2, and 3, or the first one was called what was the first one? The first one was Crab. The second one was B-Box, and then I'm working on one called Hero. And like, yeah, I mean, like, I've been telling myself like when I finish Hero, or not even like finish it, but like get it to like a playable state where it's at least as presentable as to demo it, and to show it as like a playable product. Yeah, I've been telling myself like I don't necessarily have like a fourth project to start on after that per se. Like my fourth project is kind of to just to like actually like do something with with like anything that I've been making, or like really find like something else, like something like a real mainstay. Oh, that sucks. Um, but not getting the Unity player to work. Yeah, I had some technical issues first when I first started, like trying to get them to run in browser at all. But then everyone, like a lot of the people that I talked to, had like no issue getting it to run. And this is actually the first time I've heard of like this particular like loading to just a blank colored screen, or just like a single colored screen. So, huh. Um, I have like the Android versions as well. I don't know if you have an Android device, you could try that. Um, the oh, um, yeah. Actually, that's a good point. I hadn't. I know I have a fairly current version of the Unity, like of Unity itself, but I don't even know what version of the Unity player I have. Um, huh. I Yeah, like I haven't really like all the projects that I've been working on so far. Like I mean, like I have them on a website, but really like the only reason I have them there is so that I can like get feedback from my friends, and yeah, yeah, iOS is cool. My primary device is iOS. The only reason I haven't actually compiled for that yet is that I don't have a Mac, which is I guess you need it for just like one step of that compilation process. Um, yeah, Yeah, maybe if I get a chance, like I'm gonna be spending most of my free time on this project, pay with an extra Y, for the weekend. But yeah, maybe like as soon as next week, I'll see if I can debug some of the Unity player stuff, because it would be nice to have the website like work consistently, right? So. Um, um, so yeah, if I can get the if I can get those projects running more consistently, I'll update you. Sorry. The yeah, they're not like major. They're not like huge projects either. They're one of them's like a fast paced, like frenetic, like arcadey, uh, like brick breaker kind of, because like isn't everyone's first project a brick breaker, and then the other one's like a I describe it as like, well, the inspirations for it were like Tetris and blackjack. It's kind of like the pieces don't fall from the top of the screen at like a constant rate. Like you can choose like you basically like have a hit button, so like you can choose to hit or stay, and like you're trying to fill up rows, but you like you don't know what piece is coming next. You can yeah I don't, you, it is just like a simple little distractor. Um, the project I have coming up is a little bit bigger. Once I have that one done, that one might be worth like really getting like consistently playable, because I don't know. I I think that one could be fun. It's like it's kind of like tower defense, but in the style of Dynasty Warriors. So like you don't place towers, you are like a dude like like just sweeping across a massive like battlefield of like all these. It actually the hero uses the same like swarming tech as this game. Like it's the project that I stole. Whoops. It's the project that I stole like the mob physics and that whole setup from. Uh, Sanctum. I haven't tried that one. I'll have to check it out. Sanctum. I'm guessing it's not a film. Oh, Sanctum on Steam. That's probably it. When I say it's like tower defense, it's not a button masher like Dynasty Warriors. Like you actually don't do much at all in terms of like you know sending out your hero to like you can control you can tell the hero where to go kind of, but you really what you're doing in most of the game is like managing power ups and I guess like you like kind of like spell casting a little bit, or like so the one thing you do is like activate the hero's abilities. Like I haven't spec'd out like all of what the abilities will be, but basically like as your hero like runs around like thrashing through the like throngs of mobs, you can like throw bombs. You have like this dash attack that like catches all the nearby mobs like up in this like sweeping like I don't know how to describe it exactly. Oh, I probably should not be uh, streaming an unlicensed product on. All right, so, I'm sorry. I got distracted looking at. Yeah, okay. I'll have to look at Sanctum a little. I'll have to give that a closer look. um, uh, so, oh yeah. So scene change time is my cooldown for button input. I need to, when we change scenes, I need to set it to scene change time equals time dot time, or well, time fixed time and time are in the same scale. I think they just occur at different intervals. I'll use fixed time just in case. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, this is where we actually want to check for button pressed. So yeah, button equal, no, so in button pressed equals this, and the button pressed. Great. Then, so if all those things are true, then we can do. The only values for button press that we care about are 2 or 3, because 2 is the left button and 3 is the right button. Hypothetically, you can get 1, which is the big button, or like technically it's like the space between the big buttons, and that's or between the other two buttons, and that's because the big button takes up the exact same real estate as the small buttons, but then also includes the space in between. So the if one button were displayed, then the criteria for having pressed that would be like 1, 2, or 3. Anything non-zero essentially, and then but for 2 buttons, it's just left or right. So I mean, I guess we can actually do like switch button pressed yeah, and then so we can have case 2 and case 3. And then, so what happens in case 2? In case 2, scr minus equals mob cost, and then score dot UI text dot text. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, talk about a huge scale. That sounds amazing. Um, I haven't played Rust yet. That's like of the like MMO survival genre, um, where like the goal of the game is basically like not to die. Well, I guess that's the goal of a lot of games, but like the main preoccupation of the game is not to die. Well, I guess that's excuse me, to survive, I guess, essentially. Oh man, that doesn't really encapsulate it, or encapsulate what I'm trying to describe about it. Yeah, yeah, that I would love to play that game. Oh, what have you played? I don't know if this is like the same sort of thing, but I was just reminded of what was it? There's a game that like I just every now and again I'll hear about games that are yeah, the Minecraft with Daisy, yeah, the every now and again I'll hear about games that like try and like that are basically like surreptitious like programming instruction, like, but just like in the context of a game. So like what you can do is essentially to program within the game, although it's like, you know, presented in a way that is presumably like, you know, ramps the player in and keeps the challenges like within reason for people who don't actually have actual programming experience. But like, is that like the sort of thing that you're thinking of with like the scripting, content generation in that game? Um, oh yeah, maybe that was like too vague of a description. I actually can't even come up with it. I'm not even thinking of a specific example of a game that like has that sort of like programming bent to it. I know it always like it stands out to me when I read a headline about a title like that, because I don't know, it seems like a really cool idea. But I guess like I don't know, maybe it has, maybe no one's actually really struck on the formula yet, because I'm trying to think of an example of like a really successful one, and like the only one I can really come up with is it Hack and Slash? Is that the name of the, what was it, like it started out as like a Double Fine Fortnite type project, and it was basically like Zelda but with like light hackery, like computer hacking of like the game from within the game. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, make the building tools like fun even if you don't know what you're doing. Like making them accidentally successful in cases, and make failure, you know, still a surprising and enjoyable outcome. Um, so I'm gonna say for part of the condition to get even into any of this is that also uh, button pressed is greater than or equal to 2. So that this block here, this conditional, is is just to evaluate, you know, one of the buttons getting pressed, one of the two buttons getting pressed. So in one case, in the left case, we deduct the mob cost from score and we update score. In the other case, we I like that, the idea of like actual of having like have like programming as like a trade skill sort of in the game itself. Um, uh, so right in case 3, I think we just destroy mobs mct -1. And then actually I guess it's only in this case that we have to mobs So yeah, in the case that, oops, sorry for putting my face so close to the camera. I do that without even thinking. So in the case that the monetary cost was paid, then we put the mob back where it came from. Mob transform dot position equals, and then I think where we put these is basically just like a random spot, like 10 units into the air. So an equally random spot will be equally sufficient. Oh yeah, and then either way, current scene equals 0. I think this game might be playable now. I think it might just like, it's basically done. No. Compiler errors, I probably forgot to put 2 equal signs somewhere. Yep, equals. I tend to do that. Next spawn. Oh yeah, next spawn time. That was not used anywhere. So I think our game is like super playable now. Probably not super balanced. Scene change CD is never used. Oh right, yeah, right. Thank you, little error alert thing. Where's scene change supposed to be used? Yeah, scene change time equals time dot fixed time plus scene change CD. Save. And how are we doing? Better? Looks like we're doing better. So look, a whole mess of stuff, and then sacrifice, and then pay the sacrifice. Oh right, yeah. We never hid the thing again. The scene. So yeah, so current scene equals 0, and volcano scene dot set scene dot set active false. Now our game's playable. I mean, technically it was playable in that other state as well, but now this game is awesome. Pay it. Oh yeah, we don't have any checking in terms of like negative values, so we definitely have negative values. Which doesn't totally make sense, because if we're hypothetically throwing these things into a volcano, how do you throw like debt into a volcano? How do you go into debt of throwing things into a volcano? That doesn't necessarily, I don't know how I feel about that. Pay it. So, alright, that's just, that seems like super working. It's like the whole game, basically. No, but one other thing that I'm going to check, I think if we bump the threshold down to 2 and run it and make the other choice, wait, what? Oh, right, coins, yeah. Coins. Look at all these decisions we have to make just because the threshold is 2. Alright, I'm going to change the spawn time to be 1. Spawn period to be like 1. So that way it's not literally just like constant. Look at that stuff. Hey. Oh. Volcano demands a sacrifice. Sorry, bro. More sacrifice? Sorry, bro. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Look at that. Look at that stuff. How about that stuff? Yeah. So, right, so I'm running the simulation, and things seem to be checking out. Although, it occurs to me, I think there's some credence to the, I mean, I think it's, like, really worth considering the other approach, whereby, the volcano's demands for sacrifice, occur randomly, or at random times. Um, maybe? I don't know. Probably going to keep going back and forth on that one. Uh, hmm. Um, so, yeah. Right. So, it's. I'm going to take a, while the, the only known viewer is also taking a brief break. I'm going to take a brief break to, refill my water bottle, and I will be back so soon. It'll be as if I never even left. I swears. back. I'm back. Sorry. Sorry for the brief delay. Ha. Water bottle refilled. And let's do this. Alright, so look at this game, so playable. So, yeah, I think I like the idea of having the demands for sacrifice occur spontaneously rather than at spawn time. So let's fix that up and see how that feels, and then we can start adding all those other features that. Well, oh yeah, so yeah, one important thing. If anyone's noticed that this game is awful and it's like super super awful, like abhorrently awful, that's a very keen observation. This actually, so like when I say the game is playable, I actually mean like only the game on the surface is really playable. So I mean, I know I'm gonna have to implement it at some point, so it'll become really obvious to the viewers like what is like the catch or like the twist, as it were. But I don't know. I kind of like don't want to say it yet. I don't want to like just inherently ruin it for everyone up front. But so yeah. So like yeah, I guess maybe I should have mentioned this sooner. But like if you have like fundamental qualms about like what this game is and what is happening, that's probably good overall. Like that's kind of the point. Like I really wanted to make this situation like just as deplorable as like some things really are. Like I don't know. I kind of wanted to make the game a comment about some of those things. So I apologize if I did not make that clearer sooner, or if the fact that I didn't make that clearer sooner had upset anyone, or irritated, or miffed, or in any way otherwise reduced the enjoyment of anyone who might have been watching. So, yeah, please stick around, because I assure you, this game is probably supposed to be about the opposite of what you might might be thinking it would be about. Alright, let's, what are we gonna do? Oh yeah, I was saying we should, to change the request of the volcano to be at intervals, and at a different interval than how it is presently. And actually, you know what? That we might not have to change. We don't have to go back and fix up some of that random stuff to be pseudo-random. If we change like the intervals, it might have a if we change the occurrence of the demands for tribute, then that might be, what we have presently might work better in that system. So where is it presently? Oh yeah, right. So presently we have it such that the mob cost is calculated, and then can subsequently trigger all that to do. Instead, let's let's just keep track of the costs. So let's instead of mob cost, let's have float mobs cost. um, and have that equal to new float array max. No, max mobs. What is this matrix? Right, and then, so we can even do it before the iterator, so you don't have to do like I'll count -1. You can say yeah, mobs cost what MCT equals MPF, the mob prefab thing. Extra B. And then we can say mobs cost MCT actually, I guess we can just, I don't know why I did this in 2 steps. Oh, because I'd been declaring it previously. Yeah, we can just do this all in 1 step. Mobs cost equals MPF plus 3 plus minus, etc., etc., etc. So, wait, no, I put that in the wrong place. Yeah. It doesn't super matter because I'm going to be deleting that anyways, but right now that's where I meant to put it. And it's not CT minus 1, it's just CT. Alright, I can get rid of these. Although, yeah, you can get rid of those. So, yeah, we don't have to print mob costs anymore. So this is going somewhere else. Oh, yeah, right now. Scale. Right, again, actually the C threshold is probably going to go away altogether. So, let's not forget to multiply all of this by, whoop, too many semicolons. Multiply all of this by scale. Alright, so now we have our costs kept. It's just this is more convenient, I think, than like trying to retroactively calculate costs based on the what am I? Sorry, train of thought. Retroactively calculate costs based on what prefab type the mob had been spawned as. So yeah, we can get rid of this now. So yeah, so the setting of active is true, the scene changing, and the translating, the updating of the text, and the transformation. So yeah, okay, so this is all going to happen at a different, with other timing, really. Well, or as like a separate sort of thing. I guess, I mean, it's probably going to be happening in the same, like, updates, but so I'm just trying to think, should it happen before, or after spawn, or instead of, or, I mean, I guess there's no specific reason that they couldn't happen in the same frame. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll just put it. So it definitely is if current scene equals 0. I mean, this is what will change this from current scene to equals 0 to current scene equals 1. So if okay, yeah, we need like an offering timer. So or tribute. Um, Tribute time equal, so if tribute time is less than time dot fixed time, then this is where this will all happen instead. So I'm gonna cut all of this stuff out, but I actually don't need all of it in the new location. Oh yeah, well we should just we should say what tribute time is. As with other timing things, float tribute time equals 0. No, tribute time equals 5. Because we don't want it to happen as soon as the game starts. Oh, yeah, okay. So another thing to keep in mind, now that we're tracking the mob costs, we should also do it for our mobs that got generated at startup. Oops. Wait, where does... Oh yeah, it gets iterated as part of the loop. MPF. Yeah, it's still called MPF. Oh, sorry. Getting a little close there. RGB. Sorry, just one sec. I'm just going to do a quick thing, which will take almost no time at all. I'm posting another link on Facebook. Oops. A link to the stream. By the way, here is the link. Bloop. Okay. Oh, wait. Why do you do that? For whatever reason, it gives my link the icon of Twitch Plays Pokemon. Probably because of how much of it I watched. But, okay. So, right, so those ones have their mob costs. And what was I doing? Yeah. Did I already? Tribute time. Oh, yeah, and then so float tribute cooldown equals, I guess, also 5F. So so yeah, so I'm gonna say so a lot apparently. During fixed update, yeah, we slopped in this whole thing about C threshold, but that's not relevant anymore. In fact, I can get rid of C threshold altogether. Actually, no, that's not necessarily true. I might still keep threshold. Or not, I don't know. Okay, so, excuse me, if tribute time is less than fixed time, then, well, so the punchline is that tribute time equals time dot fixed time. Oh no, that's not true. No, that's not true. That happens when we transfer back from Evan's here. Attribute time equals time dot, I guess fixed time, plus attribute cd attribute cooldown. So once we leave the volcano, that's when it starts the timer again for until the next tribute. I guess I could put some variability in there to make the volcano seem more arbitrary. So maybe attribute cooldown times random dot value. No, plus random dot value times 2 or something. I don't know. So yeah, back here we still need to touch up this stuff because this does not make sense yet. Volcano scene active, scene equals 1, scene change time equals, okay, mob cost text. Okay, right, so because we're not just going with the most recently spawned mob anymore, which we're not, if I didn't say that, we are also, we also need to choose a mob. So for int I equals 0, I less than mob count, I plus plus. So for all the mobs that exist, actually before we start on that, let's max max cost equals 0. Oh, and it's not, it's a float. Float max cost equals 0. So if mobs cost I greater than max cost, max cost equals mobs cost I. Also yeah, no, this isn't exactly how I want it to go. I don't just always want to take the ones with the mob with the maximum cost. There needs to be some variability in that system. So like, I kind of wanted to just like choose randomly amongst the like the highest 20% or something. So to do that, yeah, maybe I will use the. Yeah. So what do I want to do? Maybe, oh, there's a name for this. I was reading about it the other day. It's like the, something bandit problem or something. Like, I want to work my way through the list, and I want to make a reasonable guess at a certain point. Which, oh, no, this is easy. This is way easier than I think it. Yeah. All right, yeah, okay. So right, actually, yeah, we were even on track and everything. So mobs cost, for etc. 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 Mobs cost is so if mobs cost I is greater than max cost equals mobs cost I semicolon. So this just finds what our max cost is at any given time. And I guess it will be important to remember that once a mob is destroyed, its mob cost, revert to 0. Mob's cost and whoops, we'll have to change how that's done, but for now I'll follow the convention. Equals 0. So right, so then max, or so I'm not going to call it max cost. I'm going to call it cost cost threshold or something. Which I realize that's like the other one, right? The other value that I named. This one's different though. And I'm probably gonna get rid of the other one anyways, so yeah, C threshold. Alright, yeah, in fact I'm gonna delete it now because I can't think of a reason why. Yeah, no, I don't need the other one. Where was it? I was just looking at it. I guess this is an argument for better organization. But, alright, so, was I using cost threshold anyway? Nope. Alright, I am using max cost, which is now cost THR. Excuse me. So now we have cost THR. Cost THR times equals 0.8 F. So this will chop it down to, it'll chop 20% off the top, and so now int no, this actually has to be something, we can't declare this variable here. We actually, int tribute idx equals 0. No, it has to equal like -1 or something. I don't know. It's probably fine at either value. So tribute idx equals random dot excuse me, math mathf dot floor to int random dot value times mct times 0.99999F. I don't know. How many digits places are relevant in a float? What? Why don't you like random dot value? Oh, because I misspelled it. Random dot value. Yeah. Am I using? I guess I'm still using that. Extra 9s. Look at all this accuracy we're adding. So, hey, look, more 9s. Ta-da. Right, so tribute IDX equals etc. etc. But it doesn't like super actually equal that, because the next thing we're going to do is while mobs cost tribute IDX is less than cost threshold, we're going to iterate. We're gonna jump through the list to find the next one whose cost is above the threshold, or equal to the threshold, equal or above. And we know at least one exists because we found it when we were looking for the most expensive one. So tribute IDX plus plus, or plus plus tribute IDX as over. And then, or no, actually, tribute IDX equals tribute IDX plus 1 modulo mob count, and not 1 modulo mob count, but this modulo mob count. That way we should come up with the index of the of a potential tribute above the cost threshold. So it will pick, essentially it'll pick a random tribute whose cost is is like within 20%. Wait, whose cost is pretty close to the maximum cost. This is, I guess, one way of saying it. Okay. And it might just return the mob with the maximum cost. Like if all of the mobs have like outrageously low costs, except for one, then that'd be the only valid value, and so that's what it would return. So yeah, so we're no longer talking about like mob cost. Where's mob cost? Is that one of those values that we used to use? Yeah. That was exactly one of those values that we used to use. So score, yeah. So anywhere that we mention mob cost, we actually now mean mobs cost tribute IDX. Mobs cost tribute IDX. Oops, close square brace. Do we have any other remnants? No. I guess I don't really have to look down through that section. I know what that is. That is all just like jostling an elbow room. We have. Oh yeah, we also have this opportunity to change the index to tribute IDX. Sorry if I'm not speaking up, by the way. I think I sometimes will drift off to a lower volume, but I'm pretty sure, like, when I was testing it out, this seemed to be, like, the correct speaking volume, so I'll try and, like, keep this volume regularly. Sorry if that gets annoying. I guess that's something that I'll have to practice. So, yeah. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, I took a brief break too. So, yeah. So yeah, while you were gone, I was thinking of oh right, because it's really late where you are, or a lot later. Yeah, I what did I do while you were gone? Oh yeah, so like the game was playable, but then I broke it again. Like it was oh thank you. um, I thank you. um, I yeah, so I got the game to a playable state while you were away, or maybe you were here for that. I forget. But then the first thing I did was make a decision. So like previously, like the tributes, like the volcano demands occurred at the time a mob would spawn, and then I decided that like I didn't like how that pacing worked, and I didn't like how it was like confusing to kind of like message like the immediacy of really what even was happening at the time. So it's actually going to happen at like instead it's going to happen at like not like strictly random intervals. It's going to happen every like 5 to 7 seconds instead, and that way. So for one thing, like the mobs will continue to like spawn and drop in at a rate that like is not really something that the character has to pay super close attention to. The simulation can basically like run, like hypothetically, a player could like ignore the simulation altogether, and just like kind of like wait for those opportunities to like to make a choice. Excuse me. I think the important thing to mention is that really the stuff that I've implemented so far, it's kind of meant to be stark and like, but there's actually like what is essentially like there's like a twist to the game that I kind of like don't want to talk about it because like it would kind of like quote unquote ruin it, but it'd be like pretty much impossible to implement without people notice it. So like I guess I kind of just have to like say it at some point, anyways. But like the twist has not been implemented whatsoever. So if the game seems like stark and like if you don't really get where I'm going with it, then that would make sense because like I haven't gone there with it yet. So okay. So now so now we're in the process of changing the. Oh, I did put in that thing about productivity changing on the volcano scene. I should take that out. I think I decided I should take that out. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I should take that out. I think I decided. Or not, but either way, I'm cutting it. Hopefully that was the correct decision. So what then? Oh yeah, I know the other thing that I need to do. I'll put in I'll put in the variable for the other thing that I need to do so that it'll constantly remind me that I have an unused variable, and then that'll be a reminder to me to actually implement it eventually. So float morale equals 1 f, I guess. Okay.